Hi, I would like to welcome you today to our live cast. And today we have some interesting topics. We're going to be talking about the gold card. We're going to talk about the latest funding to Department of Homeland Security. And we're also going to be talking about the military parole in place. So if you also have your questions, you can post them in the chat and we will get to your questions. And you want to make sure that you stay till the end because we're going to be covering a lot of interesting topics on what the latest is going on right now with immigration policy. So, first of all, let's talk about the gold card. And the gold card was recently signed into executive order. This is very interesting because it allows people um, to be able to work and also stay in the United States. It's an alternative to the EB-5 program. This was created all through executive order. And if you do join, let me know where you are from as well. So it's always great to see who's where all of you are checking in from. And hi, Jot, who just joined. Right now, we're talking about the gold card. So while President Trump has been restricting a lot of immigration policies, he is created through executive order the gold card. So for those of you that do have $1 million, you can apply for a gold card. It's all done online right now. And that $1 million is a gift. So it's not like the EB-5 program where you're actually making an investment. There's also a $15,000 application fee. So since this was created through executive order, I do have some concerns about it because normally laws are created through Congress. This is an executive order. So if this is challenged, there's not a clear policy on how you'd be refunded the money. And there's some legal pitfalls that I see with the program because everything hasn't been fleshed out in detail and it is through an executive order. So if you're looking at the gold card, I think it's better to wait to before more details come out to see how this is actually going to be implemented, who's going to be reviewing these cases at USCIS. And there are alternative options instead of the gold card. There's the EB-5 program. There's the National Interest Waiver program, EB-2. There's also the EB-1 Extraordinary Ability Program. And this is really novel. And of course, a lot of things have been novel through the Trump administration where something was just created through an executive order, a whole new application process, and it doesn't bypass citizenship as well. So even if you do get the gold card, you're still going to have to apply for the 45 permanent residency, meet all the requirements there, and it doesn't give you a direct path to citizenship. Thank you for all of you who have joined. If you have questions, put them in the chat and we will get to your questions at the end of this live. And let me know where you're contacting us from. The next topic we're going to talk about are all of the non-citizens who are serving in our military. They're defending our country. And it makes sense also for them to be getting some kind of immigration benefit when they are putting their lives at stake. So let's look at what is available to people who are in the military. So there could be expedited citizenship, that's one, but one often overlooked program is military parole in place. So with military parole in place, if you, for instance, have a parent or a spouse or um, depending upon the relation to your family member. And if they entered without a visa, normally when you enter without a visa, you're going to need a waiver or some type of other way or 245I to overcome that unlawful entry. Well, with parole in place, you can apply for a green card within the United States if you're serving in the military and you have a qualifying relative um, that you would like to sponsor. And there's two steps in that process. So first you can file for the parole in place, and then second, you would file for the adjustment of status. So the parole in place with that in and of itself is a path, the first step of the path to applying for permanent residency. If you have questions about that, you could reach us at 916-613-3553. And if you want to learn more or schedule a consultation, reach out to us. Also post in the comments below if you have questions, and we'll reach your questions at the end of the live cast. I want to thank all of you who are joining us on President's Day. Even though it's President's Day, I wanted to make sure you got the latest information that's out there, and one of them being what's going on with funding for the Department of Homeland Security. So right now, as immigration lawyers, and we're asking that Congress limit funding for Department of Homeland Security unless there's certain types of accountability that is there. And so that's basically what's going on right now in Congress. Because with the recent shootings that have occurred, many people want to see more accountability, and it looks like cameras, ICE is going to have to wear cameras now. And then there's other things that are still in debate right now in order for the funding to be fully utilized. And right now that is in debate. So right now, DHS oversees ICE enforcement, detention operations, border operations, removal proceeding logistics, and funding levels impact detention capacity, enforcement scale, and operational priorities. So basically, the request right now is not to defund Department of Homeland Security, but to make Department of Homeland Security accountable, because a lot of people are feeling like Department of Homeland Security is not accountable, or ICE is not accountable. And that's why it looks like they at least will have to wear cameras. And so the recordings will happen of what their actions are. Now, certain congressmen are also requesting that they don't wear face masks as well, so they can be identified. So we're now seeing that because of what has been happening, and because of the American public not liking what they're seeing, there is now a pushback, and we're seeing how that is going to be affecting funding, and we'll keep you posted. But right now, there is a funding battle that is going on. Now we're gonna open it up for questions. So we have a question here about U visa work permit time. So with the U visa work permit time, when you apply for a bona fide application, you can also apply for work authorization at the same time. So we're seeing those if you do get a bona fide determination and the work authorization was filed correctly. We're seeing that come in within about 2.5 years, even though the U visa process can take around 8 years. All right, let's look at additional questions here. Okay. So we're having a question about the processing times for J1 waivers and how long that's taking. So we're seeing our J1 waivers get approved anywhere from 1.5 to 2 years. And our approval rates are still staying the same for J1 waivers as it was pre-Trump. Department of State, we're seeing their policies shift, especially with no objection waivers. It is becoming much more difficult to get a no objection waiver. Government funded cases are always difficult cases to win. And we're seeing that for government funded cases, those are becoming more challenging than the past as well. But overall, J1 waivers are still getting approved and taking about 1.5 to 2 years. And with the J1 waivers, we're also seeing more requests for evidence as well. So you just want to make sure that you hire someone who really knows what they're doing for J1 waiver cases. All right, well, that's all that we have today. I want to thank all of you for joining, and just stay tuned. We're going to continue to do these lives. And if you have questions, put them in the comments below, and we will, I make my best effort to get to them or address them in the next slide. Thanks. Bye for now.